Let's go ahead and add just a little bit more detail to our mountain range. So as you can see here, we are at level 3 and we have 25,000 polygons, which is a really low number. So I'm going to go ahead and bump this guy up. So we have about 400,000 and we're going to just go ahead and make a little bit more detail. So I'm going to grab my wax brush again and I'm going to increase the size of the brush and start to once again put in some more detail following the contours. And I'm going to reduce the size of my brush a little bit more. Try to get some of those striations you see in mountain ranges where you see like a bunch of detail, rock, and that all that kinds of stuff. And I'm going to follow the contour as always. That's one of the things you want to do when you're trying to sculpt. Try to follow the forms. I'm going to go around like so. And I'm going to smooth this out with a bigger brush. So I'm going to smooth, hold down shift, like so. We start to get some of those more refined details to make it look like a rock. Now it's a little too smooth right here, so we're going to continue to pull with the grab brush, try to shape it, add some more form with the, let me go ahead and make this a little larger, with our other tools as well. So I'm going to just pull out a few more details. The mountains are looking a little flat. And we can keep going. You know, you just have to eventually decide when to stop. Not too worried about the back. And not too worried about these little dents in the back here because nobody's going to see them. But I just want to get some more definition in here. And make it look a little cooler. And really get that peak. Show how high it is. Now you might notice that as much as I talk about reference, you see I didn't really go into too much reference for the mountain range in this one instance. Because I don't want to cloud the creativity too much by looking at Mount Everest or other mountains. I want to go by memory on this one so I can force the cartooniness of it to come out. If I look too much at real things when I'm trying to do cartoon stuff sometimes, it can inform the decisions I make. And then I won't make so many cartoony or illustrative choices when I'm sculpting or drawing or painting or whatever I'm doing. So typically reference is good when you're doing stuff for clients and they have something they want you to emulate. But in an instance like this, sometimes you want to use your mind's eye and just play around. So I'm going to come in here and smooth this part down just a little bit. And I'm going to increase my division some more. And we have just over, well, a lot more than we had before. We have 16 million or so, a million polygons. And I'm going to go back to my wax brush and increase the size of that. And start to pile that on. And I'll come around. And I'll smooth some of this down. I can also grab the inflate brush to help me pull out some of these forms as well. Go ahead and increase the size of the inflate brush. And just puff some of these areas up. As you can see, it's looking a lot more interesting than it did just a little while ago. Now we can go ahead and grab some more detail, probably with a smaller wax brush. And don't forget, the texture is going to have snow on it. It's going to have even more detail that we're going to paint on there. So we're not going to rely 100% on the sculpted detail. A lot of it's going to come from the texture as well. But when they're combined, it should give us a really nice look. So I'm just going to crisscross and then smooth it out with the holding down the shift key, or rather the shift key. And as you can see there, I was heading off into the right side of the brain. And it's something that happens every single time I do one of these courses when there's creativity involved. The right side of the brain is where the the right side of the brain is where the creativity lives. And when you're teaching and sculpting or painting at the same time, well, your tongue kind of falls asleep a little tiny bit, because now the logical side of your brain is going to sleep on you a little tiny bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of my brush, and we'll hold down shift and smooth a lot of this out. And we'll just keep refining it. Keep building parts up, keep smoothing parts down. You can increase the pressure of the smooth. And just take your time. Right now it looks like a bunch of waffles, but that's, part of the whole process. It's adding detail, smoothing it away, adding more detail, smoothing it away, until you have something that looks more organic. Increase the size of my brush. And just smooth all this back down. That looks good right there. I like that little bit of detail right there, as a matter of fact. But we can smooth some of that out later on, or just keep doing it now. All right, so guys, save your work, and we'll go ahead and add some more high resolution detail in the next lesson, and then we'll be ready to go and light our scene before we head into textures.